Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin Daly here alongside Benjamin Goldstein. Phillies here have won 8 of their last 10 contests. Wait a minute, are they up to, I think they're up to 9 of their last 11 with today's win. Didn't factor that in. So it's been a good run for the Phillies. We're seeing glimpses of what we saw back in, the end of April, May, and then a lot of June. Really everything prior to the All-Star break. And everything seems to be getting a little bit back on track. We saw Aaron Nola have a really good start. Zach Wheeler's dominance has continued. Today, Christopher Sanchez goes 7 innings and allows 2 runs, striking out 7, not walking anybody. Jeff Hoffman, Matt Strahm, Orion Kirkring have all been in their best form of late. Overcoming some of those post-All-Star break woes that we saw. I mean, Hoffman's ERA at one point was up over 2. Now it's back down to 1.82. He pitched an inning today, got his 19th hold of the season, and struck out one of the batters that he faced. It's other than Bryce Harper going down toward the end of today's game, it's hard to find a complaint about the Phillies right now, Ben.
It sure is. They're, as you said, they're looking like their early form again, and they're playing their best when it matters most. In the regular season, it matters most in the month of September. And they're in a race.
Absolutely.
Trying to win the East. They're 7 up now on the Braves. They're a game over the Brewers in second place in the NL, a game or 2 behind the Dodgers. I mean, they're playing how they should be and how they should have been all season. And I mean, that early form, May and June, starting to come back. The starting pitchers are going deep in games again. The offense is hitting homers again. The bullpen is not exploding every night again. They've just looked, they've looked how the Phillies of old, I guess you could say of a few months ago.
Sure, why not? Yeah. I'll tell you, Ben, you know what really sticks out to me, and I've seen it the most in these last 2 games against the Blue Jays. They're not necessarily playing A-plus baseball right now, but they're finding ways to win games even when they're not at their best. So take yesterday, right? Tyler Phillips, the Phillies spot starter, does not make it out of the first inning. But the Phillies still found a way to put up a double-digit number in runs scored and win that game. Today, the Phillies were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They left 6 guys on base, and they only recorded 8 hits in their 9 innings of play. Which I shouldn't say just 8. 8 is not a small number, but it's not the same as their 13, 14 hits they were consistently getting at the beginning of the season. So, what I see right now is the difference between an average baseball team and a good baseball team. Because an average baseball team would just stay at the pace of playing fittingly average. Right? But with the way this Phillies team has played over the last, week and a half we've seen now, it's really beginning to show that they have the talent to overcome whatever these adversities, give me a thumbs up, whatever adversities they're facing, and find a way to win games. And I hate to say that they don't deserve, but that aren't necessarily going in their favor. And that will become a huge thing, I think, come October when the playoffs start. That'll be big.
Well, I mean, you look back at the Braves series, obviously, they were down in 2 of the 3 games they won, and Nick Castellanos, man, was he swinging in that series, had the game leading homer in the first game on Thursday. They got kicked around on Friday. Saturday, they pulled out the win, shutout win, and then Sunday they were down. I guess 2 of the 3 games they were down. Nick Castellanos at the walk-off, and then you look at this Toronto series. Night 1, they win 10-9. Tyler Phillips, 6 earned runs in 0.2 innings. Tanner Banks, Jose Alvarado, Taijuan Walker, Jose Ruiz, Orion Kirkring, Matt Strahm come in and allow 3 runs in 8 and a third. I mean, you look at your bullpen, you look at your offense as well. Of course, Kyle Schwarber, 3 homers, had the game winner in the the 9th with the 3-run homer. I mean, obviously you look at those, but you don't get in that position without your bullpen doing what they did. And then, as you said last night, or I guess tonight, earlier today, where they beat the Blue Jays and not the best offensive performers, Christopher Sanchez, who had a rough first inning, allowed 2 runs, didn't allow another run after that. 6 innings, 6 hits, those 2 runs in the first, 7 Ks, no walks. I mean, when the Phillies pitching is on, they're dangerous.
Yeah.
All they need is a few runs from the offense, and they're going to win a game. And
for sure.
that becomes even more dangerous when the calendar flips into October.
Yeah, you are spot on with that. And I don't like to be, well, sometimes I do like to be, but I don't always like to be the I told you so guy. But I remember last year at the trade deadline getting in arguments with people in person on X about how the Phillies should approach the deadline. Was it Twitter back then? I can't remember.
It was Twitter back then.
Really?
I think we transitioned to X like mid-season, or maybe before.
So yeah, that's when the trade deadline was, though. July or August, beginning of August,
middle of this season. Hold on, I don't know. I was about to say I think we were still a blue bird.
Well, there was a weird overlap phase there, a very weird overlap phase.
Man, if my computer didn't want to be slow, it was July. It was last year, July 23rd, 2023.
Wow,
so a little
after it became X.
A little before the deadline.
Right.
All right, so you're arguing on X. I still call it Twitter.
I do too. And I was saying, pitching is what wins championships. And it doesn't matter how many good starters you have. If you have 3, get a 4th. If you have 4, get a 5th. If you've got 6 great relievers, find a 7th, right? Because I was saying, go after this relief pitcher, go after that relief pitcher. People are saying that we don't need relievers. I'm like, yes, you do. You always need relievers. And by the end of the last season, what did we need? Relievers. So I am the biggest believer in stacking your pitching, right? If you go onto Fangraphs right now, it'll show you that most teams in baseball average somewhere around 4 runs per game. Even the worst teams, right? The Phillies, I'm going to say they're 4 starters because they don't really have a 5th starter right now, have an ERA well below 4, right? So just simple mathematics there. It shows you that, like, when our pitchers perform average, they will win most games. If they perform above average, which historically they've done in the postseason, they'll win a lot of games. Because if they can hold teams to 2-3 runs, we don't need an incredible offense. We can go without, let Bryce Harper get some time to rest and still be a close to 100-win team, which I want to talk about that too, because I think we're segueing out of this conversation a little bit. Is that still in the cards for you? We've got 23 games left. They would have to go 17 and 6. I assume that's a no.
I don't think anyone in the MLB is getting 100 wins this year.
No, I don't think so either.
Which is kind of a shame of how just shows you how mediocre Major League Baseball is this year. But I have a question for you.
Does any team have more than 84?
The Yankees, I think, or the Dodgers have the best.
Let me see. Standings.
Which people expected them to be in like the 120, like the amount of losses the White Sox are going to have. People thought that the Dodgers were going to have like as many wins as White Sox losses.
Okay, yeah. So the Dodgers have 84. So I don't think it's happening. Think it's happening. They would have to go 16-7.
Ohtani will get 50-50, but they won't get 50 plus 50 wins.
Yep.
If you know what I mean. I have a question.
Okay.
You mentioned Jeff Hoffman, how good he's been. I want to quickly mention how great anime god Carlos Estévez has been. Have you seen him after when he gets the save? He does the thing, the
No,
anime thing.
I'm usually on the Twitter after as soon as the game ends. No,
As soon as he gets the saves, he turns around and he.
you're kidding.
I
I
swear.
never noticed that.
All right. Well, when you watch the highlights of the game tonight, when the game is over, he turns around and
Yeah, I
shoots
might go
you
back and watch the highlights again.
some noni. Or that's the only anime thing I know. But
I've never seen it, so I can't help you.
Estévez as a Philly, 13 games. He's closed 11 of them. He has 3 saves, 14.2 innings, a 1.84 ERA. He's allowed 10 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, and he's walked 3. 14 strikeouts. I know the Phillies don't have a closer.
Well, I got good news and bad news. Which one do you? I'm going to give you the good news first. Good news, I totally agree with you. I mean, Carlos Estévez has been wonderful, and again, I think he was probably the best trade deadline acquisition that this team. Well, he definitely was the best trade deadline acquisition,
Who was better?
unless
Tanner
they
Banks?
decide to call up Seth Johnson and give him a shot in the starting rotation. But it does seem like Nick Nelson, some other news here, in his new knuckleball, will get the next start for in place of Tyler Phillips, in place of Taiwan Walker, in place of Spencer Turnbull, in place of Taiwan Walker again. So yeah, there's been some fluctuation there. It's been a fun season in the 5-hole for the Phillies starting rotation.
They only have how many? How many more games will that position have?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like whatever. I've seen the people saying he can't start another game for the Phillies, and yeah, I agree. But we should just be experimenting with people. If Nelson doesn't work out, call up Seth Johnson. If Johnson doesn't work out, I don't care. Call up Mick Abel.
No.
I don't know what their innings count is. I won't lie. But unless it's going to kill them, just bring them up. Just give because I don't know. I really do think that like Abel has been in AAA for so long. He's not going to get booted from the program. There's nothing that's like motivating him to perform right now. So maybe a change of environment. Not I shouldn't say motivate, but he needs change. So that's my outtake on it. He does have good stuff, and his velocity's been there most of the time. So I'd really like to see him try and pitch at the major league level. So I think there could be something there, but that's also I feel like a long shot because his AAA stats are just abysmal.
Yeah.
It seems he has some really, really good starts, but the ones that are not really, really good are tough to watch.
Anyway, back to my initial question.
Oh, yeah.
I know the Phillies don't have a closer.
They don't?
Unofficially.
Estévez is the closer.
Committee. Okay, that was question 1.
I think there's been one game that he hasn't closed since he's been here. It's been a save situation.
So question 1A is if the Phillies would have a closer, which whatever. Would it be Estévez? Question
Yes.
1B. Who would you rather have close a game? 1-run game against the Dodgers. Carlos Estévez or Jeff Hoffman? I have my answer.
Estévez.
Okay.
Estévez, yeah.
What if it's Ohtani, Betts, Freeman?
Yeah. He's the closer. People you have to get comfortable in that role, I think.
He's my guy.
He's your guy.
What if it's Ohtani, Betts, Freeman in the 8th?
Hoffman.
Okay. So here's my thing. In 2008, they had Ryan Madsen go against the best. And Lidge pitched the 9th. That's what I want to see with Hoffman and Estévez. I want to see Hoffman against the best. Estévez against the 9th.
What if it's the same thing? What if the best are in the 9th?
I want Estévez in the 9th.
Good. So we agree, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I thought that's what you were saying. Yeah, I'm totally with that. You didn't let me finish my bad news.
What was your bad?
You ruined one of our segments today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
SeatGeek standout star, Carlos Estévez.
There you go.
Estévez, yeah. So he was mine. We may as well get into that now, right? About halfway through.
Yeah, we can
so.
shift into it.
Yeah, why not? So I spilled mine.
SeatGeek. Yeah, you have Estévez, and I want to talk about the great people
Of course,
SeatGeek.
yeah.
You know what's right around the corner, as Nick Castellanos said? October. And how are you going to get your tickets for Red October, Colin?
Well, I wish I could just waltz on over to the ticket box if you could. It could 30 years ago, but I've outgrown that. You've outgrown that. We've all outgrown that. So I'm going to get on that little device of mine that I'm currently looking at you through. I guess you're looking at me. I'm not really looking at you. I'm going to go onto the SeatGeek app. I'm going to create my account. I'm going to find the tickets I like. I'm going to sort it by best deal, making sure I'm getting the best bang for my buck. We're going to look for the dark green, the nines. I went to a concert. I found myself a 9.8 seat. Could you believe that? I couldn't believe it. And then I was really mad because the next day the ticket prices were like half because it was the day of the concert. But it is what it is. Anyhow, I'm going to go through the whole process, type in that credit card information, and I'm going to say, whoa, that's expensive. Then I'm going to remember there's that code right there. Phillies Sports Report. We're going to type that in and get yourself $20 off your first purchase when you're using SeatGeek. And I might have just set the record for the most detaily SeatGeek ad of all time.
You're going to type.
Type.
Yeah,
type
Phillies.
that right in. But what am I going to do, Ben? We're reversing roles today. When I'm typing it, what am I going to do?
You're going to hold the S.
I might have just gotten fired right there. That was way better than mine. That was way better than mine.
Yeah, you're going to hold the S. PHILLYSPORTSREPORT. Thank you to SeatGeek. Link in the description of the YouTube video and the podcast and all that stuff. So thank you to SeatGeek.
I forgot that I can't point. We have our non-viewing listeners, our Spotifyers.
Our audio listeners. All right,
I apologize to all of you out there.
We love you though. My standout star.
Oh, that's right.
Hit 4 home runs in 24 hours.
Basic answer, but I appreciate it.
Well, if you said Schwarber, I was going to go with that's the best. It's Kyle Schwarber.
Oh, really?
He went north of the border and said, man, I love myself some maple syrup. Hit a leadoff homer on Tuesday night. Hit it one in the middle of the game on Wednesday. And then hit another 3-run bomb in the 9th to win it for the Phillies. Went 5 for 6 on Tuesday night. Hit 3 home runs. There was some stat I will pull up. And then what did he do on Wednesday? He hit another homer to lead off the game. I mean, when he is on, Colin, is he the best?
Lethal.
Is he the best hitter in baseball when he's on? Because, I mean, he wasn't just hitting homers. He was hitting singles.
Best power hitter in baseball, for sure. He's when he's on, he's getting the single, the double, maybe not the triple, but the home run. He's definitely the best power hitter in baseball. I mean, there are some guys who we've seen get, like Julio Rodriguez gets insanely hot at times. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who we just saw, gets insanely hot. Shohei's done it. Some guys in the Yankees have done it in the past. So I don't know if I'd go to the best, but I'd say he's top 3. He's definitely the top power hitter in baseball. I mean, we saw his stat line, or I guess his box score from last night's game had only been recorded once in history. He was 5 for 6 with 3 home runs.
Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber joins Mike Schmidt as the second player in Phillies history with 5 hits and 3 homers in the same game. Schmidt did so in his 4 home run game April 17th, 1976. Colin, at what stadium?
What was this, 76?
Yeah.
Has to be Veterans, right?
Wrigley Field
Oh.
in Chicago. Schwarber is the first Phillies player since at least 1900 with two three home run games in a single season. And then today, Schwarber tied Alfonso Soriano's major league record of 13 leadoff home runs, which Soriano set in 2003.
You know who
So,
almost did that? But
who?
just couldn't get there? Bamboo Brad. He had his 3 home runs. He didn't get his 5 hits, though. It's a shame. Really is. Did you see the report from Phillies Nation about the bamboo tree that was dropped off the Phillies clubhouse? No.
Why is there more bamboo? I thought that was a 2019 thing.
Well, it wasn't from a player. I mean, it was, but it wasn't from a current Phillies player.
What did Brad
Pull
Miller
up
give him?
Destiny Lagardo's Twitter.
Oh boy.
Put in bamboo in the search bar and look for the most recent posts.
All right. I gotta scroll because I'm on the computer. How many days ago was
Just put it in the search bar.
That doesn't exist on computer.
Really? That's the only place Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't get that. Why?
All right, I'm looking it up on my phone. But why is there more bamboo? I thought we were done with this.
I don't know. I thought it was funny though. I'm all for it. I mean, you can't go wrong with the bamboo.
I just spelled bamboo wrong. Someone sent it to Topper. Hoping this gets the players out of their slump. Positive vibes are out of the many things that bring this to this club as a future baseball ops employee.
I mean, Brad Miller is looking for a job with the higher ups there.
Yeah,
self-promotion, maybe. I'll tell you another thing. Oh my God, I remember that. Another thing I want to touch on, somewhat jokingly, somewhat not, is our favorite supporter of the Canadians hit a home run today too. JT Realmuto.
Yes.
Who we know has a personally political distaste for the Canadian government. They did not let him into the country during the 2021 season, I think, right? Because 2020 they played in Durham. Was that Durham they played in?
Yes.
Yeah, they played in Durham. Because 2021 they were back at the Rogers Center, but with restrictions. And they wouldn't let a lot of guys in. Nola didn't get to go, but he wasn't slated to pitch that.
Well, you had to have your
vaxes.
Yeah, you had the vax, and those who were not vaxxed were not allowed to travel outside the country, and certain folks did not have that. But we're past that.
Yeah, we have.
And now
since moved on.
And something that occurred today that is not great is Bryce Harper was hit by a pitch in the first inning, hit on his left elbow. And after originally staying in the game, he was removed for Edmundo Sosa in the top of the third. Phillies announced it was a left elbow contusion. After the game, Thompson said that he's fine. The elbow was stiffening up, so it was more precautionary. I think he could have continued on if we really had to. So everybody exhale.
I think that's probably for the better. I do.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Phillies, you got so many things going on. I mean, you got Castellanos got hit yesterday. Bohm still has his hand thing going on. Yeah, Harper getting hit in the elbow. Like I am starting to tone these guys down a little bit. I mean, the Phillies are going to make the playoffs. They just got to win the East. And I think you can slowly start decreasing some guys' playing time. At this point, you got to have Castellanos play every game. He's played every day already. You got to have him out there 162. Like it just has to happen now. But Harper, Schwarber, who else? Bohm and Turner. They need to,
turn it back.
start
Yeah,
dialing it back a little bit. That's why Cody Clemens is on the roster. That's why Weston Wilson is on the roster. Also, Cody Clemens has been awesome. Great at bats. Hit a homer today. Had a big hit on Tuesday in that win against Blue Jays. Should he be on the postseason roster, Colin?
I could see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how unfortunately, pinch hitters aren't going to be overly valuable. Excuse me, in the postseason, it's going to be more about defensive replacements. So we're definitely going to see Edmundo Sosa, Johan Rojas get a lot of time in the infield and the outfield, respectively. Clemens' defense is good, but it's nothing to write home about. I don't know.
Yes.
That's a very good question.
Cody on Tuesday was 1 for 2 with an RBI. He scored, and then he was 1 for 4 on today with that homer, which was a 2-run homer. Gave the Phillies the lead. Phillies didn't turn back. He's had a lot of good at bats though. He's drowning at bats. Rob Thompson said he predicted today. He was like, he's gonna hit a homer today. I mean, great at bats yesterday. He's just destined to do it, and he did it. So, he's a good player. Like, he can play everywhere. Like, I mean, Greg Dobbs won the Phillies the World Series in 2008.
Yeah,
that big double.
I don't know who they can cut right now. Wilson, Clemens, Hayes, and Sosa. I mean, actually, Hayes has been okay recently. He's hitting like 300. No power, really, but he's getting on base. Wilson and Clemens have been fantastic recently. And Sosa's been seriously one of the most consistent hitters they've had all season. He really hasn't had a period where he hasn't hit well. He had a short stretch in the middle of the season where he was cold. But he's been good all around since, and his defense is great too. So
Phillies will have to make a decision.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to the end of the season. See what happens there. But yeah, I'm curious to see how that turns out.
Fight for a spot.
Yeah. Well, Ben, the Phillies are down to a magic number of 17 games in the National League East and 16 to clinch a playoff spot. And as I mentioned before, they have 23 games to go. Now, they have a couple big series coming up. They have the Brewers, which is going to be pretty paramount. It's not pretty. It's going to be paramount in determining whether they are playing in a wild card series or if they get the first round bye. We're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves, though, so we are going to talk about the next 7 games for the Phillies. We can hopefully podcast again next Thursday. So let's chat a little bit. We've got 4 on the road in Miami, hanging out in South Beach.
Always bad
Castellanos'
vibes.
family lives. What's that?
Oh, always bad vibes. 4-game weekend in Miami.
I feel like it's so desolate in that building.
Horrible vibes.
Like, there's no one there. It's not a very interesting stadium now.
They have like those whistles and those drums.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. It looks.
The Marlins have been eliminated.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, they got eliminated already.
Call me weird. Go ahead. I don't care. The vibe of playing it. What is it? Lone Depot, where they play.
Yeah.
It's giving like a moldy vibe. I can't explain it. I have no rationale.
It's just always bad baseball. And I've been to. I was
moldy
there.
Baseball.
I was there. It was Marlins Yankees. I was at what was then Marlins Park. It was like green. They had the sculpture.
Oh, I love the sculpture.
Very strange ballpark.
Yeah.
Very bright at the time. And there were so many Yankee fans. So it was like loud. But
well, yeah.
If you go to any other time where they're not playing the Yankees or the Mets, there's nobody there. And especially this weekend because the Eagles are playing in Brazil, like there's going to be even less There'll be less
boy.
Phillies fans. So, because everyone's watching the Eagles on Friday, and then maybe Monday or Saturday and Sunday people will hit it up. But
All right, then after that, the Phillies will be back at the bank from the 9th to the 11th, hosting the other team from Florida, the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are having a down year, I'd say, for them, right?
they're mediocre.
Right, which is atypical. They're usually one of the better teams. What's your prediction here, Ben?
Well, they're going to lose one in Tampa or in Miami. That's just
Only one?
guaranteed. They're going to lose it. And I think they went 3 or 4 in Miami. And then I think they sweep the Rays at the bank.
Wow.
I'm very optimistic about this baseball team right now. So give me, what is that? 3, 6 and 1.
Okay.
I mean, I've been right the last few times. So got the Braves.
You're making.
Right.
I was gonna say 4 and 3, but you're making me feel a little bit more optimistic. So I'll go 5 and 2. I agree with the sweep.
But
They
you just have
split
such
Miami.
bad vibes in my. Okay. I mean, Miami's playing for nothing. Usually that's when.
I think they'll lose, win, lose, win. No.
Well, what's the
Loss,
pitching
win,
matchup?
win, loss in Miami, and then sweep the Rays.
Well, here's a pitching matchup. Thursday, it's Ranger Suarez against Adam Oller. Friday, it's Wheeler versus Edward Cabrera. Saturday, Aaron Nola versus Darren McLaughlin or McGocken. I don't know how. I guess it'd be McLaughlin. And then Sunday, the Phillies have not set on a pitcher against Max Meyer.
Well, I think it'll be Nick Nelson if I'd take a wild guess.
Yeah, probably. It's still.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the comfortable 5 and 2.
No.
And you're 6 and 1.
6 and 1.
All right. Not bad.
I'm an optimistic guy. What can I say? By then, will the Phillies' magic number be single digits?
Ooh. That would be tough, but I can see it happening.
Could happen. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. Follow both of us on X. Follow Bowringers on X. Check us out, both of us, on PhillySportsReports.com. Like and subscribe. Rate us on podcast apps. Follow Philly Sports Reports on all social media. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring. Links are everywhere for SeatGeek. Thank you for watching and listening. Go Phils.
Go Phillies.